What's up everybody? Welcome back. So part 2 of season 6 has begun in Go Battle League, and in today's video I decided to put Crawdaunt with Crabhammer to the test in the Great League. Now along with a bunch of different moves which have been updated for part 2 of season 6, Crabhammer has been given a buff which has made Pokemon like Crawdaunt a real threat as far as closing out games is concerned. Because of the energy generation from Snarl, it basically takes like only 3 Snarls to get to Night Slash and 4 Snarls to get to Crabhammer, and between these two you're going to be able to hit for heavy neutral damage against almost everything that you're going to run into in the meta, right? Except probably Azumarill. But we're going to be running this alongside Shadow Swampert and Skarmory as well. So this team comp is pretty similar to that of the double Mudboy strat, is where you lead with Skarmory, and if you don't run into a grass type, you basically switch into your Swampert to hopefully bait out the grass type or a potential Crawdaunt counter, so that Crawdaunt can basically sweep end game, right? But like I said, this team's actually worked really well for me. I went like 4-1 and 3-2, like the 2 sets of battles that I did with this team. So I'm going to be showcasing some of the best battles from the 2 sets of battles that I did. So let's just get straight into it. Okay, moving on to the first battle here. I'm going to be leading with Skarmory with Shadow Swampert and Crawdaunt in the back. So we have Skarmory into a Shadow Mobile. Absolutely terrible matchup. So immediately going to safe switch into my Swampert here. And I'm not going to throw the Charge Move because I was expecting them to switch. Yeah, they make a switch to their Lapras. They're probably trying to catch a Hydro Cannon here. So I'm just going to go straight for the Sludge Wave. It's going to do massive neutral damage because it's a Shadow Lapras as well. So it's going to take additional damage from it. So now I can go straight for the Hydro Cannon here. Now even though it's resisted, it's probably going to get the shield from the Lapras because it would probably take it out from that range. So I'm going to shield this up as well because I really want to make sure that I win switch advantage so that I can line up my Crawdaunt against their Mobile and not my Skarmory. So I'm just going to go for the Hydro Cannon as soon as possible. This is either going to get the second shield from the Lapras or take it out here. Does take it out, which is fine. And they come in with Sableye, I should be able to get to another Hydro Cannon, right? This is exactly where Swampert can be absolutely destructive as a safe switch option. Especially if your opponent doesn't run grass types, it can run through a lot of team comps, right? So I'm going to come in with Skarmory here, and then they make a switch into their Mobile. So I'm going to stay in and soak up this Power Up Punch and then switch into my Crawdaunt. So I'm just going to switch into my Crawdaunt here, and then now I can just go straight for the Crabhammer, right? Because obviously Night Slash would be resisted because of the Fairy typing, and Crabhammer would easily one-shot it from this range. But does get the shield there, which is fine. We don't get the attack buff, but it's all good because I can just shield this up. I'm going to shield this because Power Up Punch will do super effective damage. And Crawdaunt is extremely glassy, right? As you can see, even those Fire Fangs are resisted, it just still does so much damage to Crawdaunt. So I can just go straight for the Crabhammer here and does take out the Mawile. And then they come back in with Sableye. I'm really trying to snarl down, but we're not able to. And they probably have like 2 back-to-back foul plays at this point, so it's going to actually come down to the wire here. So. But luckily we were able to air slash down. They're probably one Shadow Claw away from another foul play. We probably would have survived that, but yeah, it was extremely close there nevertheless. So, I mean, as you can see, Shadow Swampert is without question, in my opinion, one of the best safe switches in the Open Great League. I mean, as long as you don't run into grass types, even if you run into grass types and team comps like this, it's really good, right? Because you're basically baiting out the grass type so that, Crawdaunt can sweep the end game there. So they actually lead with Galarian Stunfisk. I switch into my Swampert. They make a switch into their Drifblim. This is fine, right? Again, Swampert with energy advantage can do pretty well against Drifblim. So they let the Hydro Cannon go through. That does massive neutral damage there. And most Drifblims tend to go for Icy Wind first. So I'm not going to shield this because I know we can survive that. And then I'm going to overfarm a little bit and then throw the Hydro Cannon here. This is probably going to get the first shield from the Drifblim because it would probably take it out from this range. And I really want to make sure that I win switch advantage so that I can have my Crawdaunt go up against their Galarian Stunfisk, because Skarmory obviously has a terrible matchup against a Galarian Stunfisk. So I shield the Icy Wind this time, and then I'm going to go for another Hydro Cannon here, and they let it go through, which is fantastic, right? Because we win switch advantage was really significant for us. And let's see what they have in the back. They have an Umbreon in the back. This is perfect for us because now Crawdaunt is basically set up to sweep this endgame, right? So I'm going to go for the Hydro Cannon here. This is double debuff. So it's almost going to do no damage to Umbreon, but it's fine. I'm going to come in with Skarmory, obviously, because I want to avoid the matchup against Galarian Stunfisk. And I'm just going to soak up these charge moves, right? I'm going to rely on Crawdaunt with a shield to close this game out for me. So yeah, another charge move comes through. It's fine. It's going to basically take a couple of more foul plays to get rid of us. And yeah, they make a switch into their Galarian Stunfisk, so I'm actually going to stay in. I'm going to stay in to make sure that I soak up this charge move. I'm going to soak up this Rock Slide here. It's not going to take us out, but now I can come in with Crawdaunt, right? And now I can just go straight for the Crabhammer. It's obviously going to be super effective because of the ground typing and should probably one-shot it from this range. I'm not going to bait in this matchup because I either want to take it out or get the shield. We get the shield, which is fantastic, and also we get the attack buff. This is fantastic for us, and this is where Crawdaunt can be extremely destructive, right? So I'm going to shield this Rock Slide here and then go for the Crabhammer as soon as possible. Now, again, this is boosted as well, so it's easily going to one-shot the Galarian Stunfisk from this range. and then we should be able to get to the Crabhammer before this Umbreon can get to a last resort, right? So I'm able to get to a Crabhammer here. Now this is boosted as well, and even though Umbreon is an absolute tank, it's going to take it out there. So as you can see, it just does about like 50% of Umbreon's health. Yes, it was a boosted Crabhammer, but that's still pretty significant, right? Because that's almost as much damage as a super effective Play Rough would do from an Azumarill. So yeah, that's pretty impressive right there. So moving into the next battle here, we have Skarmory into a Medicham. Very positive lead for us. It's a good thing that we don't have a Crawdaunt going up against it. They make a switch into their Alolan Marowak. I'm going to come in with Crawdaunt. Now this is a very favorable matchup for Crawdaunt because most of Alolan Marowak's moves are resisted except for Bone Club, right? Because both Fire type and Ghost type moves are resisted because of the Water and Dark typing. And they let the Night Slash go through. It's fine. I'm going to let this go through as well. Shadow Bone is resisted. Still does quite a bit of damage there. So I'm going to try and completely snarl it down, and we have a Crabhammer ready to go. So I'm going to probably expecting the Medicham to come back in. But unfortunately, we lag a little bit. I was really trying to get to this Crabhammer here, but I'm hoping that I can get it off, but unfortunately we go down there. So we lagged a little bit, and they were able to get like a couple of counters there, but it's fine. I'm going to come with Skarmory and then go for the Sky Attack here. It's probably going to get the shield from the Medicham, but I'm really hoping that whatever is in the back is weak to Swampert, right? So I'm going to let this go through. They go for Psychic, which is very interesting, right? Because that's resisted. They make a switch into their Skarmory. I'm going to go into Swampert here, and I think we should be able to win this matchup, right? So I'm just going to shield this up because we still have 2 shields, and Swampert can obviously outpace Skarmory into the charge moves. So I'm going to shield up the Sky Attack here, and also we have a shield advantage, which is pretty good for us. So I'm just going to go straight for the Hydro Cannon here. It's going to take like 2 Hydro Cannons to get rid of Skarmory. The first one does get the shield. It's probably going to take 2 more, I should say. So I'm going to go for the first one here. It's going to do about like 50% of Skarmory's health, and hopefully, yeah, I'm going to shield this up as well. So I'm going to actually build up to like a little past a Hydro Cannon. I'm going to overfarm a little bit here. Overfarm like maybe a couple of mud shots, but they make a switch in then Medicham, so I'm immediately going to go into Skarmory. So at this point, I'm trying to get to a Sky Attack here. I think we lose CMP right there, and I'm really hoping I can survive whatever this move is. It is an Ice Punch, and we're barely able to survive it. So I'm able to get to the Sky Attack here. This is going to take out the Medicham, and it's also a good thing that Skarmory cannot farm us down, right? They're probably going to farm us down a little bit, but then again, Swampert wins CMP against Skarmory, and we have like 2 Hydro Cannons ready to go. So I'm just going to go for the Hydro Cannon here and take out the Skarmory. So that's pretty close there. I mean, we had like very minimum health remaining on Swampert, but luckily we like won the lead there. And also we probably deserve to win that because like we lagged a little bit. I think there was quite a bit of lag this morning when I did these battles, but it's all good there. So I'm moving into the next battle here. We have Skarmory into a Crustle. Pretty neutral matchup obviously because we're both doing neutral damage to each other. Obviously Crustle takes neutral damage from flying moves because of the bug and rock typing, while we're also taking neutral damage from the rock moves because of the steel and flying typing. So I'm just going to go for the Sky Attack here. They let it go through, which is fine. So I'm going to let this go through. So it's probably going to be a Rock Slide, which is going to do quite a bit of neutral damage there. And now I'm going to switch into my Swampert, right? Because I have to preserve my Skarmory. Exactly why. I have to switch out to bait out their grass type. So I'm just going to go for the Hydro Cannon here to put this Victory Bell into Air Slash farm down range. They let it go through. Even though it's resisted, it just does so much damage, right? That's really good for us. Surprising to see a Shadow Vic, even in spite of Razor Leaf being nerfed, but it's still probably is almost as good as it was. So they come back in with their Crustle. I'm going to go for the Sky Attack here. It's probably going to take it out from this range as it does there. And let's see what they have in the back. They have a Lapras in the back, right? So it's basically Lapras with 2 shields against Crawdaunt with 2 shields. And let's see what we can do. The good thing about this matchup is because we're resisting both the quick and the charge moves from Lapras, except for probably Skull Bash. But this was too soon to be Skull Bash. But I'm still going to shield this up, right? Because Crawdaunt is extremely glassy. But then again, Crawdaunt is going to be able to outpace Lapras to the charge moves, right? So I'm going to build up past, like, I'm going to almost build up to like 3 Night Slashes here. I'm going to shield this up as well. And I'm going to basically have to get to 3 Night Slashes right now. So I'm going to build up a lot of extra energy. We're probably probably built a little past 100 energy there. So I'm just going to go for the Night Slash here. The first one does get the shield. I'm going to go for the second one here. This is probably going to get the second shield as well. I'm really hoping that I can get to another Night Slash before the Surf comes through. And they get the attack boost as well. And I'm able to get to another Night Slash here just in time. And it's going to take out the Lapras there. So that's one of the other things about Crawdaunt is because of Snarl, it's going to be able to spam those charge moves and put like massive shield pressure. And closing also adds massive closing potential as well, right? So as you can see, this is like the first set of battles which I went 4-1 in. But we will look. Take a look at some of the losses that I had in the second set as well. This team is not like the most ideal team. Obviously, does have a few challenges there, especially something like Charmers in the back can be pretty hard to deal with as well. Also fighters as well, right? So, anyways, moving into the first battle of the second set here. we have Skarmory into a Drifblim. Pretty neutral matchup this, obviously. Do have to watch out for Shadow Ball. I'm not going to shield the Icy Wind, but they've done about like 4. I'm pretty sure this is just an Icy Wind because it was like probably 1 hex away from a Shadow Ball. So I'm going to soak it up and then switch into my Swampert here. Obviously, Crawdaunt has such a positive matchup against Drifblim, right? Because everything Drifblim has will be resisted as well. I'm hoping that they switch out so that I can line up my Crawdaunt against their Drifblim, but they are staying in, which is fine. And like I said, most Drifblims tend to go for Icy Wind first, so which is why I'm not going to shield that. And at this point, I'm just going to go for the Hydro Cannon here. Now, even though this is debuffed, it's still going to do quite a bit of neutral damage to this Drifblim. Doesn't take it out, unfortunately, so I'm really trying to get to another Hydro Cannon here. And at this point, I'm just gonna probably let it go through. So yeah, I'm gonna let this go through because I can come in with my Crawdaunt and farm down, right? I can probably Snarl farm this Drifblim down. So I'm just gonna come in with my Crawdaunt here and completely farm this thing down. And we're almost at a Night Slash right now. Let's see what they have in the back. They actually come in with Umbreon. So I'm gonna go straight with the Crabhammer here. Like I said, it's gonna do quite a bit of neutral damage in the matchup. Does about like 30 to 40% of Umbreon's health. And I'm trying to get to another Crabhammer, but I'm actually gonna switch to my Skarmory to hopefully catch a last resort here. But it unfortunately ends up being a Dark Pulse, which is fine. I'd rather soak up the moves on Skarmory because I definitely want to preserve the health on my Crawdaunt. So I'm just going to go for the Sky Attack here, and yeah, they basically still have a shield, but they didn't shield that, which is understandable. So I'm just going to soak up this Dark Pulse. I'm really hoping that whatever they have in the back is weak to Crawdaunt, right? So I'm just going to come in and then build up to like 2 Night Slashes and then probably go back to back here if they do choose to shield. So I'm just going to go for the Night Slash here, even though it's resisted, does take it out, and they have a Jirachi in the back. This is like absolutely perfect, but again, Crawdaunt completely walls Jirachi because Confusions are double resisted, Doom Desire is resisted as well, Psychic is double resisted, and we're obviously dealing super effective damage with the dark moves, right? So they decided to leave the match there because there's no way they were going to come back from that. Also, we had a shield advantage, so yeah, Crawdaunt kind of walls a lot of different Pokemon in the meta. It walls Drifblim, Jirachi, something like Victini, and also Pokemon like Alolan Marowak to a certain extent. So we have Skarmory into a Wigglytuff. So this is where it gets a little tricky because I'm forced to stay in here. They make a switch into their Shadow Machamp. So I'm actually forced to stay in, right? Because none of my Pokemon in the back have a great matchup against Shadow Machamp. I mean, Swampert does pretty well okay against it, but it definitely doesn't do great against it with an energy disadvantage, right? So I'm actually going to shield this up because Cross Chop would probably KO from this range. And I'm probably going to double shield. Yeah, I'm going to double shield because I want to preserve the health on my Skarmory, especially to go up against their Wigglytuff. So I'm going to completely farm this Machamp down here, and we have a lot of loaded energy right now. And they actually come in with their Grass type, I think, right? I think that was... No, they come in with their Tropius. It's a Razor Leaf Tropius as well. So even though Razor Leaf is nerfed, it still does quite a bit of double resisted damage there. And luckily I'm able to get on the Sky Attack, but the unfortunate thing is I'm not able to get an excellent on it. You'll see that ends up making a difference here. And this is a really bad match situation for us because they have so much loaded energy. So I'm going to come in with Crawdaunt because we're only taking super effective damage, whereas obviously Swampert would be double weak to grass. And again, like I said, that extra sort of damage from the Sky Attack would have helped us win this game because Mud Shots are triple resisted. And my only win condition there was to farm the Tropius down, right? Obviously you can't farm it down, and they're able to get to another charge move and take out my Swampert there. So yeah, extremely sort of, I mean, it's very difficult to deal with Tropius, especially in the back, but Skarmory was needed against all 3 of their Pokemon, right? I mean, Skarmory was my best answer to their Machamp, their Wigglytuff, and their Tropius as well. So we have Skarmory into Cresselia. So this is again a very positive matchup for us because I don't want my backline to go up against Cresselia because Cresselia obviously has access to Grass Knot and Moonblast. Obviously, both Grass Knot and Moonblast will be super effective against Crawdaunt, and obviously Grass Knot will near one-shot a Shadow Swampert. So I'm just going to stay in and then go for the Sky Attack. This is obviously a very favorable matchup for us. I don't have to shield this. It's going to be a Moonblast, which is resisted. And yeah, at this point, I'm going to try and go for another Sky Attack here. I'm hoping that I can take out this Cresselia as soon as possible. And yeah, we are able to put it pretty low. And at this point, I'm probably going to be able to farm this thing all the way down. And I don't have to shield this. Like I said, everything is resisted. We can probably tank this. But I'm really hoping that they don't have a grass type in the back. So I'm completely farming it down here. Let's see what they come in with. They actually come in with their Swampert. I'm going to go into my Swampert here. This is where I make a little bit of a mistake because we're both on even shields right now, and I decided to switch my Swampert into their Swampert with an energy disadvantage, which is never a great situation, right? I probably should have waited a little bit and then probably switched into my Crawdaunt to catch the Hydro Cannon because Hydro Cannon would be resisted by Crawdaunt. But Hydro Cannon from this range would one-shot a Shadow Swampert, right? So I'm going to have to basically double shield here. And then, yeah, I'm just going to build up a little extra energy and then go for the go for the Hydro Cannon again here. This is probably going to get the second shield from the Swampert as it does there. And then I'm trying to get to another Hydro Cannon. Unfortunately, we're not able to. And they're going to be able to take us out with this Hydro Cannon. This is not a great situation for us because, yeah, I'm just going to come in with my Skarmory and then go straight for the Brave Bird here. This Brave Bird is going to one-shot the Swampert from this range. And I'm hoping that whatever they have in the back is weak to Crawdaunt, but unfortunately they have a Machamp. So yeah, Shadow Machamp in the back against Crawdaunt, like it has no play, right? I mean, it just instantly got deleted right there, and that's like one of those sort of negative things about it, right? If you run into a Charmer or a Shadow Machamp in the back, you're pretty much done for because, like I said, Crawdaunt is extremely glassy, and those heavy hitting, super effective quick moves would probably instantly delete it there. So. Anyways, moving into the next battle, I think these are like the last couple of battles of the set. So we have Skarmory into Cresselia, once again a very favorable matchup for us. So I'm just going to stay in hope that they don't have another grass type in the back. Typically most people who run Cresselia don't run grass types because Cresselia obviously also provides the grass type coverage with Grass Knot. And the fact that they're staying in, which is pretty interesting, that tells me that whatever they probably have one more Pokemon in the back which is also weak to Skarmory. So actually they make a switch in their defense Deoxys. So I'm going to go straight for the Brave Bird here because I'm just going to throw the Brave Bird and then switch into my Swampert here. I'm going to go for the Brave Bird, does get the shield, so immediately going to switch in my Swampert. Swampert has a pretty positive matchup against Deoxys, right? Because most of Deoxys' charge moves are resisted, except for Psycho Boost, of course, but they go for the Thunderbolt, which is fine, that's resisted because of the ground typing. And I'm just going to go for the Hydro Cannon here and does massive neutral damage to the defense Deoxys. And I'm hoping that I can get to another Hydro Cannon. We're able to get it in just in time here. And let's see if this gets the shield from the Deoxys. Does get the shield there. And they're probably going to go for another charge move right now. So I'm going to let it go through, right? I'm actually going to let this go through. And then come in with my Skarmory and probably farm this Deoxys down. So I'm going to come in with my Skarmory here and then completely farm this defense Deoxys down. I'm going to let this go through, right? I know this is just going to be a Rock Slide. It's too soon to be a Thunderbolt. We're able to survive the Rock Slide. We're able to take it out as well. And then let's see what they have in the back. They come in with the Azumarill. I'm going to go immediately for the Sky Attack here. Now this is a pretty tricky situation for us. Like I said, Azumarill kind of walls Crawdaunt here, but then again, you'll see the power of Crabhammer, right? Even against a tanky water type like Azu, Crabhammer still does quite a bit of damage there. So I'm going to go for the Crabhammer here. Does a decent amount of damage to the Azu, and even Snarl, even though that's resisted, it's still adding up. So I'm going to shield this up. Unfortunately, just an Ice Beam. I shielded it just in case it was a play rough. So I'm going to be able to get to another Crabhammer here. Now this is going to put the Azumarill pretty low. It's going to put it into Snarl farm down range. Almost takes it out. So I'm just going to risk it and hope that this is just an Ice Beam because I can't shield this, right? I know Cresselia has loaded energy. So I know they come in with Cresselia, go for the Grass Knot. This is exactly why we saved the shield here. So I'm going to shield this up and then I'm going to overfarm a little bit. I'm going to build up to 2 Night Slashes or probably almost 2 Night Slashes and then go for the first one here. And it's probably going to take out the Cresselia and then I'm able to Snarl down as well. And then we should be able to get to the next Night Slash and take out the Azumarill there. So as you can see, I mean, even if you have a shield advantage and you're going up against an Azumarill that doesn't have play rough, then you're probably going to be able to win that matchup, right? Because again, like I said, Crawdaunt can generate energy pretty quickly, and even those resisted Crabhammers do quite a bit of damage. And obviously, if you get the boost, that makes it a little easier as well. So I think this is like the final battle of the video here. Okay, so we have Skarmory into a Skarmory. So this is actually a mirror match. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm basically going to stay in and then soak up the Sky Attack and then switch into my Swampert, right? So I'm going to overfarm a little bit and then now I'm going to basically soak up this charge move and then switch into my Swampert. I'm going to basically say they have to go for the Brave Bird and we make a simultaneous switch. They come in with the Azumarill and go in with Swampert, and this is actually a pretty good situation for us, right? Again, Swampert does pretty well against Azumarill, so I'm going to shield this up, but I'm going to have to make sure that I land the bait correctly. Beg your pardon, I have to make sure that I can bait successfully. So I'm just going to go for the Hydro Cannon here and then Hydro Cannon doesn't get the shield, unfortunately, right? So that's very smart play on their part. Now I'm going to go for the Sludge Wave here. This is probably going to get the shield from the Azumarill. Does get the shield this time. So this is not a great situation for us because, yeah, I'm going to shield this up as well because I really want to make sure that I win switch advantage right now. And it is a play rough this time. So I'm going to overfarm a little bit and then bait again with Hydro Cannon. I know my switch timer is coming back up. So I'm going to go for the Hydro Cannon here to hopefully get a shield out of this Azumarill. But unfortunately, they don't shield that. So they've been like calling it really well here. So I'm going to go for the Sky Attack this time, and this is going to take out the Azumarill if it goes unshielded, but does get the shield there, which is fine. And I'm going to soak this up. If it is a Hydro Pump, it would probably take us out from this range. It is a Hydro Pump, which is fine. And I know that they basically have no energy right now, right? So I can just come in with Swampert and farm for a lot of energy. So I'm just going to come in with Swampert and then Mud Shot this Azumarill down. Let's see what they have in the back. They actually come in with their Politoed. So I'm just going to go straight for the Sludge Wave here. It's going to do massive neutral damage because of that Obviously, Polito doesn't have the part ground typing, so at this point I'm able to get to another Hydro Cannon as well, right? Now, even though it's resisted, it is going to take out the Polito from this range, and I'm hoping that whatever they have in the back is weak to Skarmory, is weak to Crawdaunt, beg your pardon, but they have a Skarmory. So this is a pretty neutral matchup for us. I'm able to get to a Crabhammer just in time. Just does so much damage as that right there, and also we get the attack buff as well. And they go for the Sky Attack. It's not going to KO, but I'm hoping that I can get another Snarl through. That's crucial, right? I'm able to get to another Snarl through here, and hopefully I can Mud Shot down, and I'm able to barely Mud Shot down. Like, we had like 1 HP at the end of it, so luckily we were able to pull it off there. So some really close battles, accuracy, some tough losses there, but we went 3-2, which is fine. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're trying out new Pokemon, it's always nice to have a positive set. So I'll be trying out these different Pokemon, which have these updated movesets for part 2 of Season 6. So stay tuned for that. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.